All right, we are back from our break. A warm welcome to everyone from around the world that are joining in for the Responsible AI Summit. We've had some incredible speakers already. We have gone from Saudi Arabia to China, and now we have flown all the way to Africa, where we have an incredible young leader, a voice in AI, Joseph, who will join us to speak on some content around how to understand youth digital rights in an AI era. So, Joseph, I'll let you introduce yourself, but I would be remiss if I didn't mention myself that you are part of the ENCODE Justice, an organization that I really admire. And I thank you so much for joining us. I'll leave the stage to you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, everyone. I've been at the section from yesterday, and it has been so amazing. And there are really nice speakers coming all over the world, and really nice tools. Thank you, Miss Clara. Thank you, Mr. Joaquin, and the very presenter prior to me was Mrs. L, and she had a very nice presentation on youth voices. And I'm going to basically touch on that, but from a different perspective. And I'm really happy and honored to be here. I'm normally in talks like this. Africa, my homeland, don't get to participate, and that is what at the age of 16 I decided to change. I realized that youth deserve to be in global opportunities. We have to bridge the global south with the global north, and we can create a very solid paradigm where we can interact. That so I see this as a very opportunity myself to express myself once again as a youth. And a bit of introduction. I am Joseph Baffour, from Ghana, specifically Accra, and I am part of Enco Justice. Actually, I'm the national director for Ghana, and my journey with Enco Justice started right when I was at grade 12. And they are really awesome people. How they received me right from there, getting Neha and Adrian, really nice people, and they actually taught me that youth deserve to step up and advocate. So I believe strongly in education paired with advocacy. So for a while now, we've been advocating in Ghana about AI actors. It's very novel in our region because no one cares about it. Like they don't even know what deepfakes are, and it's now that cybersecurity experts and Google developer groups in Ghana are getting the notion out that there are AI safety. There we have to take AI safety serious. We have to take cybersecurity serious, and we have to join hands in this advocacy. So we are really happy. We are really happy to have to join this conversation. It's really awesome for us. So without wasting much of the time, I'm going to start right on with the presentation. So my presentation is going to
Joseph, I'm sorry
be
to
on.
jump in just briefly, but I just want to make sure you let us know when you want us to change the slides, because for the audience, we did a little technical override here. So we're running the slides for Joseph on his behalf. But if you can just let us know whenever you want to switch the slides, then we will take care of it for you.
Okay, thank you very much. So I'm going to be tackling right from how our past, you know, I believe the world has a very solid past and history. And looking at the ages of globalizations that we've gone through together as one people, and stuff like conflicts, wars, technology, agriculture, all these stuffs have been shaping the human race into what it is now. And this talk has been influenced by Professor Jeffrey Sachs from Columbia University. He was close mentor, and I got to learn a lot from him through one of his courses on the ages of globalization, and it really influenced my presentation now. So, looking at the world from the Ganges, the Amazon forest, from America, the Himalayas, and then in Africa ourselves, we are interconnected in many ways, from telecommunication, from technologies, from trade, from expertise we share across borders. We are so interconnected, and this interconnectedness is what has kept the human race going for a very long while. Now, the Silk Road gives us a very in-depth understanding of how China used to engage in trade with the Europeans then, and the Western world from Asia, and how the connection they exchange lots of stuff, and it's really gone forward to influence how we see our world today. So today I'm going to talk of stuff that happened in the past, taking it right from the start, and then how the youth now are going to be a very vital role players in terms of spreading AI awareness and safety. So we can change slides. We can change slides to the our first slide. So I want to ask a very central question: how can historical paradigms inform contemporary solutions to digital right challenges we the youth are facing? You know, the term youth has been defined a lot more by many people. Um, in terms of age, we are looking at people of the ages um, teens, and then we are also looking at people between 20s and 30s, early 30s, and it gives us a very narrow set of people that we are taking from. And then these people that we call youth, myself, yourself, um, we all pass through that stage. And it's an amazing time in our life. And, as a youth at that point in time, you make serious decisions that influence your life. So it's really interesting that we get to look at youth now in this world already. SDGs are raising awareness in climate issues and how we use fossil fuels, how the environment is getting destroyed, our ocean life, economic problems, social issues, and that's so awesome. And day in, day out, youth are working so hard to try and join hands in solving this problem. And it's really awesome. We are creating that world for them where they are welcome, where they are being allowed to speak, where their solutions are taken into consideration. And it's so cool we have that in our world. And it all stems back from history. What were these youth like? Like from Egypt, we heard of King Tut. Tut was a very young king, 17, 18, and he was doing really awesome stuff. And he was one of the pharaohs of Egypt that transformed and shaped the way Egypt did its trade, the way Egyptian scholars settled then, and it was so awesome. So it shows and gives a glimpse of how youth have influenced times in the past, and how in this present world we are going to incorporate them in informed decision making and help them in terms of developing and advocating for artificial intelligence. Please, can we change slide? Okay, so let's take a brief look at the evolution of communication. Now, going straight up to Egypt, I'm referencing Egypt a lot because I have gotten to experience how the Egyptian history was like, and it really fascinates me looking at the pyramids they laid across and the stepping stones and evidences they have all across to show how rich their history was. It really fascinates me. Yeah, it really fascinates me. So we see forms of communication directly from cave paintings. We see oral traditions coming up. We see hieroglyphs. We see really integrate forms of communication that
It appears we're experiencing a bit of a latency issue. As soon as he resumes, we'll continue with the presentation. And if need be, we can readily bring this to a separate webinar and its own installment.
Absolutely. The connection has been a little shaky today. It's interesting. We're waiting for Joseph to return. Joseph is our speaker from Enco Justice in Ghana. But it's interesting because this is a good example of some of the complexities when it comes to communication in the digital era. That much of it really has to do with infrastructure, accessibility to stable Wi-Fi connections. And we often see this with our leaders in AI out of the continent of Africa, that they struggle with being able to communicate effectively because the technology simply doesn't allow them to do so. And this is what we are experiencing right now. It raises a lot of questions. I think you can probably agree with that around the digital divide and the limitations we have for getting a representative voice into the AI and tech community. And I think this is a good example of that. Joseph is an incredible young leader. He has done amazing work in AI already. He's really a change maker in Ghana, and yet technology and connection with communication creates some limitations. But it looks like you're back, Joseph. Can you hear us?
yeah, I can hear you. Sorry about that. It
That's
was
okay.
some
We
Wi-Fi
understand.
issues I was facing.
We understand. So we'll be quiet and let you continue. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Miss Kara. I was taking it from the kinds of communications we were facing, the way we were transmitting information before we got to have the system where we were using writing and reading. So I was taking it from cave paintings, oral traditions, and hieroglyphs that the Egyptians were using, as well as many primitive forms of communication. And it's really interesting when you're looking at it. And no, communication plays a very, very big role in this AI era. Deepfakes, 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 deepfakes. the whole goal is to communicate something to the public, to spread a propaganda. You get it? To put up something wrong with it. So it shows how communication is very, very essential. How you get information to someone else. The way the information is being received, who is sending that information out, and who is on the receiving end, and how is the person receiving that information. That's how the whole communication idea is, and it's really, really serious in terms of how it controls and how it matters a lot to us. And now we went from hieroglyphs to print and stuff, using telegraph, Benjamin making an important discovery. Then we got Tesla working with alternating currents, trying to work around out currents and electromagnetism. And this is so awesome, and it's all about the journey of communication. Social media platforms played a very strong role in how information is being spread. It's very fascinating. I was speaking with my grandpa, and my grandpa was so fascinated about how we could just connect with people with Google Meet. I'm able to communicate via our platform, and the technicalities involved in terms of how these platforms were being created, right from Mark Zuckerberg's Facebook. And Facebook is one of the most used social platforms, I must say, especially in my region. We use Facebook a lot. I know now people are moving from Facebook to other platforms like, let's say, Slack, Discord, but Facebook has been used a lot. It's still being used in my society quite often, and new organizations are setting Facebook accounts, and there are lots of stuff going there. Lots of cyberbullying, lots of deep fakes, lots of propaganda is being spread, because now I feel the world, most people are not using social media. No, sorry, most people are not using Facebook now, but the people now using Facebook in terms of um, the majority of people from Ghana, from Nigeria, from all parts of the world in Africa and the global south, it's really serious. So social media platforms has become the new normal. They are our go-to platforms in terms of reaching to everyone. And it's really interesting the journey we've walked so far. And let me tell you, let me get something across about social media. Majority of the people on social media now are the youth. Now, statistics have shown that very soon, the most users of the internet will be African youth. Yes, African youth. It is their social platforms like TikTok, Facebook, LinkedIn. Some social platforms are really new to the global south. Like you get the majority of people not using LinkedIn, Slack, Discord a lot. They are mostly using WhatsApp and Facebook. It's really, really interesting how social platforms are becoming a part of us, a very significant part of us. Please, can we change slide? Okay. So now we can look at a clear cut. We can have a clear cut difference on the look in terms of how um, the world now is receiving development. Now, development, as I know, is influenced by many factors. The kind of economy the specific country in question is having now, and the kind of technology, the kind of people there, in terms of the social lives of people there, and the amenities they are receiving at the social level. They all go along with to influence how we see a country is developed. Now, there's a clear-cut difference in terms of how the global south is taking development and how the global north is taking development. Now, youths are playing a very critical role in terms of development. Now, I've witnessed many startups, many startups. Maybe we you might not hear of it, but there are many youth startups coming out from Africa. A lot of them, a lot of new startups. Immediately you are at um, level 100. We call it level 100 here. When you are taking your first undergraduate studies at level 100, you witness many people who want to start a side hustle, and then the side hustle turns into going to learn about tech, and then how these technology can be used. And then these technologies we are talking about are now making a very significant use of artificial intelligence. And then realize people are creating lots of AI startups day in, day out. People are creating lots of products, tech products out there. And then most of these people are falling in a region that we are saying they are still developing. They are still in the developing terrain. And it's very serious how in such a region elections is so possible and it can get overlooked. No one manages the kind of tech being used in a country going through a developing phase, because most of the major concerns would be how to make please the people socially and economically, more than focusing on their AI safety and then the well-being of youth in the region. That's kind of a problem developing nations are facing, and it's something we'll be talking about. I believe we'll be hitting on, especially in the panel, on how AI influences our economy. So I wanted to get across the clear-cut difference in development and how it influences, especially the youth who are using AI, because there are no strategies laid down to check them, and then they get they start developing, bringing out these AIs, using them. No clear-cut information on how to use them properly. No strategies to watch. No frameworks to follow, and it can get really bad in the future if we don't get these checked. Please, can we can change slide now? Okay. So now we are looking at concerns that these youth are facing in terms of looking at how development and then social media in terms of communication plays a crucial role, right back from how we started as a single human race and then demarcating into various places. Now, crucial challenges that we are facing in this digital era is not limited to data privacy, algorithmic bias, and then surveillance. Um, Algorithms are something I find. So imagine you go to a shop, and then at a point in time, you stop just for a while to watch a product, a single product. Then the store rearranges and then gives you like or similar products, just as the product you stop to stare at, the product you stop to take a better look at. That is algorithms. That is algorithms. And it gets really serious. It's like it's following your thoughts. It's following your thoughts. So it gets to a point where you stop to focus on something emotionally um, is happening, and they can it can get really really hard, and then you keep receiving all this forms of emotional disheartening content from your end, and then you would feel really bad about it because it's algorithms. Now there are systems to ban these algorithms. Some countries are accepting it, some countries are checking it, but most of the others are not aware of these systems available. You can research your algorithms, you can work with it. And then a second concern is on data. Data privacy is very crucial in terms of who you give your data to, what it's being used for, the kind of people receiving the data. Are they storing it well? Is it being kept well? Is it being protected? Are you safe? That's the question. Are we safe? So data biases and algorithms are really, really, really crucial in our living. And then surveillance systems. Surveillance systems, we see them a lot. We see them a lot in various countries. In the global south, is very new. Is very new in the global south. In terms of surveillance systems, is developing countries are adopting, like India adopting surveillance systems in their airports, and we can get really hard in terms of is being watched, what your surveillance system is taking from you, and then how this data is being kept. So these are the various challenges we are facing. We can change slides, I guess. I was like, we could change slides.
Yeah. Sorry, we're getting close to the end of our
Okay.
time. So unfortunately, we're gonna have to resume this webinar as a standalone event in the future. But from what we heard and when you started getting warmed up, Joseph, it's very exciting. And I personally am a big lover of history and anthropology and the development of society. So I was really looking forward to this. We will have to make time to do this again.
And
But
if I may just jump in for the benefit of the audience, Joseph will join us in a panel discussion in about, let's see here, about 15 minutes, 14 minutes. And I know I have a lot of questions for Joseph already, especially because you are in this unique and very challenging position that only 40% of the young people in your country are really connected. And we want to hear much more about that as well, which I think links into what you're saying about communication and the history of communication. So we will hear more from Joseph in just a little while, but we do have to go to a short break, and then we will return in a little while after the break with a panel discussion. I look forward to it. Thank you so much, Joseph.
thank you, Joseph.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for having me. Thank you very much.